Yeah.
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 Let's get it.
That's how we start the episode.
Fuck,
Let
man.
me ask you this question, and it's
Yeah.
something I was thinking about recently.
Mhm.
Do you believe in the idea of a soulmate?
Interesting. Interesting topic.
And to give you clarification, what I mean by that is a soulmate is somebody who there's a belief system that everybody has somebody for them.
Mhm.
Like, you know how you're here out of the 8 billion people on this planet, there's another person who fits perfectly like a glove to everything that you are
Mhm.
and is waiting for you to find them. That's what people widely consider a soulmate.
Mhm.
So do you think there's somebody out there waiting for you to find them?
100,000%. Not only that,
You agree?
I'm gonna triple down on that. I'm gonna say there's more than one soulmate for you out there.
Oh, okay.
You can connect on that level that you're talking about with multiple people throughout your life, and you can run into them very frequently. I think it comes down to knowing yourself to the fullest degree, right? Understanding your personality traits, what your flaws are, what your strengths are, and progressing to being the best version of yourself. You'll meet somebody down the line that has similar shared values and a personality to you. And I feel like you can find multiple people if you know so much about yourself to that degree. You can find multiple people as a significant other that would be considerable because you find them a soulmate. You know, it's just it's how you see yourself mainly, right? People are constantly on the pursuit of trying to find out what their true personality is based off their environment, based off what they know, based off of the people in their family, based off of what they engage with online, you know, so it's a constant searching that people are going through, right? And this happens on both the male and female side. But once you get to that point, I feel like majority of the time, most people hone in their personality in their like late 20s or 30s. But once you get to that point, right, and you're fully assured in who you are as a person, then it's easier to find people that are like-minded. That's when you can see more. Because, like, mind you, when I think of the term soulmate, right? Soulmate, sorry. But I'm thinking of one person that you're going to meet that's exactly like you, who's basically been paired with you by God, you know, for lack of a better term. I don't think that that is the actual concept of a soulmate. The actual concept of a soulmate is understanding yourself to the fullest degree and then matching with somebody who understands himself to the fullest degree based off of your personality. And then you can, you know, live a happily ever after. But what do you think about that?
I like that breakdown.
Thank you.
That was incredible.
I told you I came Jalen Brunson today, baby.
I thought I was throwing you off the mark with that question.
Really?
I didn't expect him to respond like that.
That's why originally when I heard that, I'm like,
That
yo,
was
man.
incredible.
Give me your thoughts on that though.
Just he barred you up. You have to come.
Yeah,
you have to come correct right now.
I have to come with a clip. So, you know, I do agree with you that there are I feel like in today's age, the idea of a soulmate is romanticized, and it's not like I don't really like the phrase. I just think there are good matches for you out there. You know, there are people who can resonate with your character. There are people who can help you develop as a person, and somebody who you can effectively grow with, right? And it doesn't have to be one person. There are multiple different people who can fit that mold, similar to what you said. But on the flip side of that, I think it's a very rare thing to find somebody like that, because something personally that I'm going through is I find it very hard to find somebody who I can be on the same outlook with. Like, it's so hard to find somebody who shares a lot of the same value systems, to share a lot of the same like concerns and all that mumbo jumbo. I think it's such a rare thing to find somebody that it's not to say what you said was wrong, but it's kind of, in a way, it's not as easy as it seems. How do I put that, you know? So
I mean, that kind of goes back to my theory as well, right? Because, like, for the majority of our formidable years, and I always say this term, but throughout our 20s and like our
finding
teen
who
years,
you are, right?
we don't really know what we want because we don't know who we are, right? But once I noticed that when people get into their 30s and 40s, it's so much easier to find a mate or soulmate.
You think so?
Yeah, because, like, they're tired of playing the games to make it seem like they have this personality. They're more so honed into who they actually are.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to relate with people because essentially that's what growing up is, right? Becoming the adult is you stopping the chase of pursuing a personality or a lifestyle or this dream of yours and honing into the idea of this is your reality and you're going to make the best of it, right? And then that's when meeting people becomes so much easier because like once you're done with that shit growing up, you're like, okay, now I need something to better this lifestyle that I've created for myself. Let me find the kind of missing piece here, you know? And then I feel like that's on both sides, female and male. It's so much easier to relate with somebody because a life is better with two than with one, right? Nobody wants to be alone forever.
Yeah,
right? So
I agree.
It could be considered settling, right? But there's also like, I find, okay, sorry to kind of bring this conversation somewhere else, but I find nowadays relationships are being, like you said, romanticized a lot, right? And we're forgetting about the actual duties that are involved in maintaining a relationship, right? There's roles, right? There's responsibilities, right? And these things they're not glamorous enough, right? For the public to enjoy or to consume like that, right? We only look at the flowers and going on dates and spending time with quality time with each other. We don't really see the behind the scenes aspects of like, you know, maintaining your routine, your daily routine, you know, reminding your spouse or your partner to do something, you know, things of that sort are responsibility that people don't realize are necessary in a relationship till they get to either several relationships past or to a certain age where they cannot play those games anymore, where there's kids involved or something like that. But I feel like that happens more so in our 30s. It's kind of sad to say because a lot of the young people we know are really, there's like good characters out there in people, right? But we're all, like I said from the beginning, we're trying to consume some part of life that we think is necessary to us, we think is fun, or we think that is like the dream life. But once we kind of get there, a lot of people probably that are in like celebrity statuses, right? They often get to a point where they've consumed enough, right? And they want to settle down and they want this lifestyle, right? That people generally, like average Joe people have, right? And I think that's because, like I said, it's the consuming of a lifestyle that's very distant from what you actually can achieve.
Yeah.
And then realizing that after the fact and then wanting to settle down, right? So the term settling down, the reason why I brought it up is because a lot of people look at that negatively, like, oh, you settled for this person or you settled for this relationship.
Yeah.
But it's really just finding your peace and comfort, you know what I mean? And building the lifestyle that you've achieved or attained throughout your life, you know? So when it comes to soulmates, there's several people that can fill that void in your life that you meet along the way. But it's kind of odd that happens more so in your 30s now than your 20s, you know?
Another reason why I think it happens in our 30s is I think a dude has to be in a specific part of his life in order to get married.
Yeah.
He needs to be financially there. He needs to be mentally there. And he just needs to have enough experience to handle a relationship. A lot of our peers, and no knock to anybody, everybody's walking their own life. A lot of people, to what you said, in my opinion, are settling, right? And the reason why I think so is because they believe that in your 20s, this is a step in your life that you should do. You should find somebody in your 20s, and they find somebody who they get along with, not knowing the repercussions of what, a relationship may have, settle down with them, get married, and figure out later down the line that this is not actually who I want to spend my life with, right? And I think a lot of people are missing that initial step in romanticizing the idea of what a relationship is and just going for and settling and finding whatever works for them at that specific point, And I just think, like, going back to what I said earlier, although I do think that there are multiple partners where you can consider a soulmate, it's not as easy as one may think it is. And it may happen in your 30s. It may happen in your 40s, depending on when you think you have that knowledge of yourself and that knowledge of who you're trying to grow with, right? But ultimately, I just think the idea of soulmates is just, it's always been a gray area for me. I think it's just something that's pushed in order to make us want to look for something that doesn't exist.
Okay.
I think a lot of people have criteria of what a soulmate should have, but in its own way, that person may never exist. I think people, something you said earlier, settle, but I think people should be realistic with what's out there in the world and try to look for something that complements them in that aspect. And that's what I think is a soulmate. You know what I mean?
That definitely 100%. I'm in 100% agreement with you, and that kind of ties into what I was saying is picture or bettering your immediate life to add value into it from someone else. You know
100%.
what I mean?
And not even your immediate, but your
Future life. You know, like there's so much that goes into it. It all starts with you working on you, right? And then somebody down the line can come and fill the gaps that you have. You know, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, man. Right, as we get older, right, and we start to kind of think about certain things that we kind of need or want in life, right? Do you think most people our age or in our age range are thinking about the not so pretty parts about relationships?
No, I don't. I think a lot of people, and like it's no knock to them. I want to emphasize this. Everybody is in their own walk of life, but I think people just love the idea of being in a relationship. It's awesome. Being in a relationship is awesome. You have somebody there to talk to. You have somebody there that can comfort you. You have somebody there that is with you at all times. Because human beings are social creatures. We always want to be around people, and having a significant other is the perfect way to solve that, right? And I think that's what they see at first. And also the lust aspect of it. Like, it's awesome doing this. But in the long run, being in a relationship is work.
It is work.
Like building something with somebody that's meant to last for as long as you guys are like holding breath. It's something that takes work and dedication. And it's not something that is initially thought about. And finding that in somebody is work in itself that I don't think a lot of people are putting the groundwork to do. You know, it's at first it's like, oh, they're pretty. Let me do this. Oh, awesome to talk to. Let's do this. Okay, let's get married. Okay, let's do this. But then not noticing the 17,000 red flags that go about that, you know? Being able to figure out exactly what you want in someone is something that I feel like our generation lacks.
Fair.
You know, just pair people together, hope it works.
Hope for the best, right?
Yeah.
And you know, another thing that I was thinking about too while we are discussing this is that there, you know, to kind of play devil's advocate a little bit, there are also external pressures on people around our age range to find someone and to actually have a relationship with and build a future with, whether it's your family, whether it's your peers, you know, whether it's even like the online space. There are external pressures, especially I feel like on the female side even a little bit more too. It's like you see all your girlfriends having mans, you know, it puts you in an uncomfortable situation. I'm only just assuming here. I can't really speak on that, but like even on the male perspective too, like you find closeness and you find like comfort in being with somebody. And that connection is something that we search for, right? But I mean, for someone like me, man, specifically in my case scenario, I feel like I find peace and happiness in meeting people and connecting with them, but I don't necessarily find what I'm looking for in the values for building a future, you know? And that might be me just being a little bit too critical. But I have a hard time with seeing that or those aspects that I look for in somebody else that would be, you know, valuable for a relationship. Like the hard parts, you know, like little parts like responsibility and
So you pull out when things get a little too serious because you don't see aspects of them that you want to move forward with.
Exactly. And that's wrong of me to some degree because I'm not giving that person a fair shake.
Gotcha.
Right? But I have this like holistic view of my life for the future, you know, how I want to be as a parent, how I want to be as a spouse, how I want my life to look. Right? And I feel like actually I can confidently say no, that's attainable for me. Right?
Okay.
But the person in which I'm going to be building that life with and sharing that life with in my mind can be the sole purpose that doesn't work out, right?
Okay, but to play devil's advocate, something I said earlier was sometimes people have unrealistic like characteristics of what they want people to be, and they wait out for that, thinking that's going to probably come. So my question to you is, if you are not able to kind of compromise with these attributes that you want someone to grow with, right? Do you see yourself ever finding somebody?
Yes, because like I said at first, I'm confident that this is attainable because what I'm asking for isn't much to me, you know? And not only is it not much, but I see it in other people.
Okay.
Right? Majority older people, majority of the time. But the traits in which, or the attributes in which I seek in people are not asking much of people. Right?
Okay.
So the fact that I'm having issues finding that is making me discouraged of trying to seek it further.
Yeah.
But it's only like it's only hurting me if I'm not pursuing that or trying to find that, because
Got you.
like I said at the beginning, right, there could be multiple people that are fit that, you know, all those check boxes, and if I'm just getting discouraged and not trying to find them, then I'm always going to keep feeling like it's not going to work out. This is not a holistic viewpoint, but confidently deep down I know that it's attainable.
Okay.
I've seen it before, you know, and
You're still on the lookout for it though.
yeah, 100%. I'm not losing faith in that
Okay.
anytime soon.
Inshallah, you find that, brother.
Inshallah, man. Inshallah, we all do, because that's the goal, right? And one thing I want to bring up too is, like, the reason why I say I've seen it before is because there are people in my life, you know, without saying names or anything like that, that I didn't even, were unassuming to me, right? That had these qualities, right? And they found somebody else with these qualities, and it made them a more whole person, right?
Okay,
It brought out the best in them.
Yeah.
You know, so seeing that gives me hope and like faith that there's people out there, like, you can find somebody who you can consider better than you,
Yeah.
right? And pursue that person to a degree, right?
I totally get what you're saying, but I just, in my opinion, I kind of want to be, I don't like the idea of, don't get me wrong, I like it when two people complement each other, but not the idea of you coming 50%, I come 50%, we'll make 100%. I like the idea of 200%. You come to me as a finished product, and I come to you as a finished product, and we grow.
And sorry to cut you off, but does that exist, man?
Yeah, that's probably one of the unattainable goals that I that I have.
Yeah, it's
you know?
it's holistic
Like,
viewpoint that we have.
I want, and it's I hate referring to people as items, but I want myself to be in like a good perspective, in a good place, and I need you to be in a good place so we can grow together to be extra amazing, you know.
I agree.
And chances are, in my personal experience, it's either I have not been there or they have not been there, and I just don't think that's a good foundation to start something. And maybe that's something I need to grow into and try to figure out how to move forward from there. But that's one of the unobtainable. I feel like it's kind of realistic actually, but it's one of the things, the values that I'm currently looking for, you know?
Okay, fair enough.
Feel
And
me?
one thing I wanted to tap into before we kind of switch gears here, there's this idea or this thought process that as men, right, we are going to be bearing the majority, if not all, of the financial burden in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Is that a realistic thought point, or like thinking way, you know, like a way of thinking about the future? Like,
No, let me
because
tell
sorry
ahead.
to cut you off, man, but like, especially in Toronto, right? We know how hard it is to live here, right? We know what it takes to be somebody who's comfortable in a city like, or a metropolitan city, right? Is it realistic to have a complete financial burden on one person's shoulders in today's society?
I get where you're coming from. So to answer that, when I was younger, it pissed me off, the idea of being the sole financial like person in the household, like being everything, you know? And the reason that pissed me off is I'm working my ass off, and like I'm providing you with like rent, with food, with everything. And in my head, I was like, but you're not doing anything. I'm doing all the work. I come back stressed 9 to 9, and I come home, I sleep, same thing all the time, you know? But then I kind of shifted gears a little bit. Thinking because that's the right that you have, you know? I started to believe that that's the way God intended it to be in a way. But for me personally, in this expensive environment that we live in,
This economy is crazy, bro.
this like Toronto in itself is one of the most expensive of locations in the entire planet, you know? I will take that financial burden for you, but I want to look for a partner that wants to help out. A partner that sees that I'm paying everything and the stress that has on me, and wants to take something off my shoulders, you know? Like, I want to look for somebody who's willing to kind of take a little bit of that financial burden off so we can invest in something together, you know? Like, I can only imagine because right now I'm single. I'm basically all the money that I have is for myself, right? But eventually, when we get married, I do understand that everything's going to be towards taking care of the household. But if you're willing to put forth something into that, it would make me so happy.
I agree.
It's so stressful being
But like,
that, you know?
realistically speaking, though, right? Let's say you were in the position, inshallah, you will be,
Yeah.
to be taking care of all the financial
Facts,
problems,
yeah.
right? You will still be like, you should be in a position where that's not every cent you're making.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what I'm
Like,
saying.
you don't want to be in a position where you're paycheck to paycheck,
Facts.
right? Living a life like that, because it's pretty much like slavery, you know?
Yeah, I need a 2 household income.
Okay.
You know,
That's basically the question I'm asking.
I need a 2 household income. I will put more into it. Don't get me wrong, but I need you to help out. You feel me?
Awesome. I like that. We need to normalize 2 household incomes because
In Toronto.
in Toronto specific, in any metropolitan city that's big, LA, New York, all those big towns, big cities, bro, like there's no one nigga there's no nigga making 300,000 that's like, yo, let me pay for this, let me pay for no, you know. And on the flip side, there's no female doing that for no guy, you know.
Yeah.
So like, come on, man.
Put forth something, you know?
Anything, you know, like just make sure that the responsibility is not on one person's head.
Facts. Let me ask you this question.
All right, let me hear the spicy questions now.
Do you consider yourself a mama's boy?
How you gonna ask me that, bro? Like, come on. Like, if I say yes, I'm gonna be looked at a certain way. But if I say no, my mom's gonna be like, "What are you doing? You love
That's
me."
true. That's
you know.
true. So,
Shout out to Hoy. I know you're watching.
okay, let's define. What do you think a mama's boy is?
Somebody who can't do normal tasks for themselves and need their mom's intervention. If you're still getting your laundry done by your mom, family, you're a mama's boy.
Okay, what if you ask advice from your mother?
That's fair. I think you should have a almost friendship like relationship with your mother when you
But
get
what
to a
if
certain
you
age.
want your mom's endpoint on, let's say, a lot of the major stuff that happened in your life? You think that's normal?
To some degree, right?
To some degree. What would you not ask your mom's opinion for?
I mean, like, obviously she's a person and she has her viewpoint on things. She's a woman,
Yeah.
you know, an older woman. You can gain so much value from that. But there are certain things that, especially just for parental sake, should not leave the room. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
there's certain things that I wouldn't talk to my mom about,
Okay.
right? When it comes to like personal, intimate things, you
Yeah.
know, things of
Okay.
that sort.
Sure.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I ain't going to my mom like, oh, how do I deal with this? You know what I
Okay,
mean?
fair.
But for the most part, surface layer advice, yeah,
Okay.
she's really good at that.
So let me ask you this question: would you ever want to be labeled a mama's boy?
No, you know why I don't want that, bro? Because you're supposed to love your mom, fam.
Of course,
When did
yeah.
that become a bad thing?
That's the point I'm trying.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like,
trying to go full circle.
What
into
are we
it.
doing here, bro? Like, okay, I want yes and no, I guess. You know, I want my mom to think of me as a mama's boy, but just
Okay,
her.
Just her.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want the world to think that.
The reason why I bring this topic up is because I notice these days a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm looking for somebody who loves their family, who's good to their siblings, who's good to their father." But it gets to kind of this weird topic when it's like, "Are you good to your mom?" Because if you answer, "Yes, I'm good for you. I'm very good to my mom," you're in a way it kind of looks a little weird because you're labeled a mama's boy. But if on the opposite end, if you say, "No, I'm not good to my mom," it's a red flag and it's all because if you treat the most important woman in your life like this, how are you gonna treat a significant other, right? So it's men, in my opinion, we're in this weird middle space where if we love our mothers too much, it kind of looks like we look like a mama's boy. And being labeled a mama's boy, there's no coming back from that.
There's really no coming back. You're done, bro.
There's no. So my thing is, do you think it's right, or what is your opinion on dudes who show their mother too much love?
You know, this is an interesting, as funny as it is, it's
Yeah.
an interesting topic because I feel like throughout the past few years, maybe like the last 15, 20 years or so, right? There's this, especially on the woman's side, right? When you're getting into a relationship, a marriage maybe, right? There's this need to be territorial almost, right?
Okay.
Like I am the woman
Sure.
in this person's life, right? So much so
Yeah.
that the mom is getting boxed out, like she didn't give birth to this nigga. You know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha,
come
yeah.
on. You know that I the way I look at it is like, come on. This is a role in everyone's life. A mother is a role in everyone's life that is needed until that person is gone, right? And it's very dependent on how good of a parent they were to you, right? But if they were the parent that they should have been growing up and raised you right, then why would you stop loving them or seeing them to that highest degree? Why, right? Especially like in Islam, right? We're supposed to love our mom by 3 times more than our dad, right? How are you going to tell me now that somebody I just met is going to come there and secure that role that my mom's been building all these years?
No, that's fair.
I feel like culturally,
Yeah.
it's wrong. We all know it's wrong. We know that, and when I say culturally, I mean like for the Somali culture, for the black culture, right? The mother in anyone's life is supposed to be respected to the highest degree. There should be no territorial beef, any kind of action towards getting to that spot. I don't think there's any woman that can get to that spot. You know what I mean? And I might be wrong for saying that in some people's eyes, but there's no one that's going to be more important to me than my mother.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. So you're saying if you're to have a wife and you have a mother, your mother will always be higher to you?
This is the thing. That's where the conversation gets tricky, right? Because I'll always have another kind of love for the mother of my children / my wife, right? That is not going to interfere with the love I have for my mom. It's not something that can be compared.
Okay.
That's how I think about it. You know what I mean? They have their 2 separate roles in my life, you know?
Okay.
I know you're going to give me a weird question.
I was gonna give you a weird question.
I need to hear it.
So
looking at me like, yeah.
So let me ask you this question.
I saw that. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
You're driving a car.
Okay.
You're driving. You're in the driver's seat. Your mother's there and your wife is there. Who would you want sitting in the front with you?
Okay.
Because before you answer that question, I've seen multiple videos of people.
I heard this before, bro. Like, this is a tough one. It's a tricky one.
So what is your opinion on that?
Okay. So, I would want my mother in the front seat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to get that off the bat. I'm sorry, future wife, future spouse, future girlfriend, but that's going to have to be. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Unless, like my significant other has, like, some kind of broken leg or some shit. She needs that comfort space at the top. Like, yo, you get into the back. Like, let's be real. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I'll happily do that, too. You know, your pops is in the front seat. Am I going to go in the front?
No.
How dare I?
Father is not sitting in the front seat.
How dare I?
Father is not sitting in the front seat.
You're sitting in the front?
I'm sitting in the
Damn. Damn. All right, nigga, how you going to get that done?
You have to show dominance, man.
Oh, you got a bar cut in my life, like speed?
No, but I'm playing though. I do agree with you.
Okay, let me ask you on the flip side then. Would you actually get into it? Would you interfere with the father sitting in his spot?
I wouldn't.
Never.
Because I know, okay, I totally, everything that you said earlier, I agree with. Because the love that I have for my parents, like for everything that they've done for me, for everything that, you know, they raised me to be this person that I am, the amount that they sacrificed for me to be in this position that I am today, you know? And don't get me wrong, like my wife at one point is going to be one of, if not the most important person in my life, you know? However, that relationship that I built with my parents is never going to cease to exist.
Exactly.
And I want to find somebody who understands this love that I have for my mother without labeling me a mama's boy, and to see that you will always be my number one. However, there are times where I need to substitute you in appropriate settings.
Definitely.
Where I hope you understand with my mother, you know? Like, for example, the car stuff.
Yeah.
I would want my mother to sit in the front seat, you know? Like I'm trying to think of another time that would be required. Like, for 99% of, like, the reasons, most of the time, you're going to be number one, you know? Like, and a lot of people find that very difficult to kind of come to terms with, you know? But at the end of the day, our mother, we as Muslims, we believe that Jannah is under the feet of our mother.
Yep.
At no point am I ever going to cut loose of everything that I've built with my mom just to create something new with you, you know?
This doesn't make sense, right?
Absolutely no sense. Do you want me to go to, where do you want me to go to?
Come on.
But does that make sense?
100%. And it's also a responsibility of the significant others to understand that too. Like, yo, one thing that's not being discussed in these scenarios is the respect for elders.
Yeah.
You know, like no matter even if it was my aunt, you know, like if it was on the flip side, right? My spouse's aunt or my spouse's uncle or my spouse's grandmother or grandfather came in the car. Out of respect for my elders, I'm going to the back.
100%.
You know, it's just how we were raised, you
Yeah.
know? So like, I feel like the significant other needs to understand their role as well, especially when it comes to elders, you know, that you have to respect your elders.
Facts.
So that's a huge thing. And this societal place that we're at, where we're looking at guys who respect their mothers highly as mama's boys, is getting to like, I'm looking at the women like, yo, like, you guys need to start realizing your actual role. You know, you're not surpassing a mother.
Yeah.
You know, maybe for your kids,
yeah,
but not
fair.
for me.
No, I agree with you, but I think something else that we do need to come to terms with is there's an extreme to mama's boy.
There
And
is.
the extreme is what I think should be kind of called out. Because what I asked you earlier, do you want your mother to be part of every decision making you make? You said obviously no, because there's some stuff that are not really relevant to what the type of conversations I should have with her, right?
Yeah.
But there are some people who have their mothers do everything for them, like cook, clean, laundry. They ask for input on absolutely everything. You know, like their mother is like the teacher. Like it's like you're always in a class.
To
And
take
your
it
mother,
a step further too, like I know some guys that don't do a lot of this stuff for themselves, and then their mother kind of cleans up after them.
Yeah.
You know, like doesn't clean his room, I'll go do it. I'm not even gonna ask him. I'll do it.
And
You know?
another, I feel like a fear that women have, and I feel free to let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, is if a man is too much of a mama's boy and has their mother do everything for them, when I marry this person or I'm with this person, they expect the same of me. Like, I'm not going to treat you the same way that your mother did. I'm not going to cook for you everything. I'm not going to do your everything. Like, you need to come to me as your own individual person that is apart from what you expect me to do as a mother role, you know? Because I'm not going to be that for you. And I do understand the concern that a lot of women have when it comes to that aspect of a mama's boy. But grouping that in together with just having love for your mom is where I kind of step back. Like, I think that's wrong. Because I'm always going to love my mom because for everything she did for me. But I don't want to be considered a mama's boy because of, and be grouped with these people.
Exactly. Because you don't need
because-
her to live.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you've already developed this lifestyle where you can maintain your own routine.
100%.
You don't need your mom's intervention for
Facts,
certain things. You respect your mom's opinion, you respect your mom's advice, you respect your mom's everything, but you don't need her to live to the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people get that misconstrued, especially women that are seeing all of these like aspects of men's lives that their mothers are taking care of them for, and they're like, yo, like I don't want to be that person for him.
Yeah.
You know? And that's fine. We can understand that. Nobody wants to clean up after anyone else's mess, but bro, like you're not gonna be in front of the nigga's mom.
100%. Yeah.
You know? I'm not
Totally
gonna be in
agree.
front of your dad. So then you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Come
you know?
on, guys.
Like, yeah. Like, the point I'm making is I'll always have love for my mom, and that will never cease to exist. But, of course, I do want to grow something new with somebody else. And at times, that is going to take priority. Well, most of the time, actually. Like, I'm building something with you now.
Yeah.
But if you want me to sacrifice everything I built with my mother and my father, that's not going to be the case. Like, they're always going to be a relevant, important figure in my life. And I'm not going to compromise on that.
And I guess an added footnote to this conversation would be we want to get to the point where we're accepting your parents
Yeah.
highly too, to that regard. We want to see them the way you see them, you know? So that's the end goal. It's not trying to fight with them for territory, right? It's trying to see or trying to get to a respect level where everybody can coexist, right? So that's just the end game, man. There's no mama's boys out here, bro. We're men.
Always boy. The fact that we have to call each other.
But if you consider me a mama's boy based off this conversation, go for it. I don't care, bro.
I agree. Like,
To be honest with you, like after hearing what we just said, if you consider that still an issue or a bothersome term, go ahead.
100%.
Go ahead. Bro. Like real talk. Weed out those ones.
Like,
you know?
the concept in itself has been so, like, to be labeled as that is just like, it's an instant kill, you know?
What about scary dads?
I don't think any dad scares me.
Well, damn. Well, damn.
But you know what does scare me? A dad that comes with me with biases. That's what I don't like. Like, I like...
Assuming of something.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. I don't think, like, the fear factor, I'm not really scared of a father. But what I am scared of is him, like, seeing me some type of way before I actually present myself, you know?
But they'll have their doubts, original doubts.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You gotta hold that. Put it on your shoulder and just, that's me.
100%.
That's
I
me.
ain't scared of no person. Nobody. I ain't scared of nobody.
This guy's gonna fight his wife's dad, bro. Like, that's my wife.
You have to show dominance, fam.
You in the gym for a reason, eh? Yeah. Come on, man. And that is a wrap for another episode of the Coffee Break Podcast. I am your host, Slim. These are my brothers.
Jama.
Mukhtar.
Thank you for another one. Please, before you leave, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, share. That helps us a lot. To be honest with you, we've been looking at our page, trying to grow as much as we can. So if anyone can engage with us and boost us as much as you can, we'd be really appreciative of that. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.